Hi everybody, welcome back to Spoiler Free Wrestling, and we are talking about potentially the biggest story to hit professional wrestling in 2 decades. We're talking about All Elite Wrestling, the promotion that is looking more and more likely to be moving forward as we enter 2019. We are going to talk about some of Cody Rhodes' comments on a recent trip to Australia. Cody mentioned when we can expect to hear about an announcement regarding All Elite Wrestling. But before we get to that, I just want to mention, if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button to make sure you're not missing out on any news or reports from Spoiler Free Wrestling. Alright, so the last video that we put up on this site, we talked about new patents filed for All Elite Wrestling with the LLC All Elite Wrestling registered to the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is owned by the Khan family. Now, the reason why I say that this is potentially the biggest story to hit professional wrestling in 20 years is because there has never been anyone as rich as the Khan family in professional wrestling. Not Ted Turner, not Vince McMahon, nobody. They would be the richest people to get involved in professional wrestling ever. That's why this is a potentially big story. So now Cody was in Australia recently as part of a tour for World Series Wrestling. If you've never heard of World Series Wrestling before, several of their matches are on the Global Wrestling Network, which is the streaming service of Impact Wrestling. So they have some sort of a deal with the Global Wrestling Network app. And Cody has a torn meniscus, but he took part in the tour, was on all the meet and greets, had several staring contests with Joey Ryan for the IWGP United States Championship. And it was at one of the meet and greets where apparently Cody was asked about All Elite Wrestling, and he told fans to expect an announcement to come in January. And he also said that the announcement is going to be bigger than anyone expects. So these comments made their way into the Wrestling Observer newsletter that was released this morning. And Dave Meltzer wrote about Cody's comments. He said, at a meet and greet in Melbourne, Australia, Cody was asked about a new promotion and said to wait for January as an announcement will be made, and said the announcement would be bigger than anyone expects. Now, there have been some people who have questioned whether or not this promotion is going to move forward. Now, Jim Ross, who has been associated with the reports on this promotion since the beginning, Ross has said that this promotion won't go through if they don't get television. He said that on the most recent episode of his podcast. Said no TV, just not going to work. Dave Meltzer has said if the Young Bucks aren't on board, this thing's not moving forward. I'm going to go ahead and speculate that they've secured TV and they've secured the Young Bucks, because if those hadn't have been taken care of by now, I would expect that the negotiations with Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling would have gone much differently. Certainly we know it's been speculated, it's been rumored that WWE has been courting these people pretty highly, offering main event money, is kind of the backstage rumor. So money has been offered at these guys that they've turned down. I don't think they're turning down that money for a promotion that might not go forward. In terms of who else might be involved in this promotion, some other people are about to become free agents in 2019 who, by the sounds of it, are waiting to see what happens with All Elite Wrestling. 2 names I'm going to throw out: Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. I have a feeling they're going to end up in the promotion. They play a pivotal, well, not a pivotal role. They're on Being the Elite quite often and have gained a lot of popularity through there. My understanding is that Scorpio Sky is under contract with Ring of Honor for a longer, like he's still under contract with them until 2019. I could be wrong about that, but Kazarian and Daniels, their contracts are up. And I just think because of their involvement with being the Elite, I think it's pretty likely that they're going to end up there. But we're not really going to know until after Wrestle Kingdom when many wrestlers' contracts are up. After Wrestle Kingdom, we'll know more about Kenny Omega's status. Kenny Omega is sort of MIA at the moment. He's doing lots of stuff with video games. He's going to be back in New Japan Pro Wrestling for the Road to Wrestle Kingdom shows on the 14th and the 15th. He's not on the World Tag League Tour and has been very quiet about All Elite Wrestling, anything like that. Of course, he's the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Is New Japan Pro Wrestling going to want to just lose him after the Tokyo Dome? Are the members of the Elite still going to be involved in New Japan Pro Wrestling? We know they want to. We know they definitely want to. But the Young Bucks have sounded somewhat distraught with how their negotiations with New Japan Pro Wrestling have gone. They mentioned on a Being the Elite show not too long ago that they're only flown in economy class to Japan. And I think them publicly mentioning that is perhaps a shot at the organization during contract negotiations. But we'll have to see. This is all really going to start after Wrestle Kingdom. Well, there's Wrestle Kingdom, then there's New Year's Dash, and then there's a break until the New Beginning shows. So it's going to be in between the Wrestle Kingdom, New Year's Dash, and the New Beginning shows that we find out what's going on with All Elite Wrestling, who's involved, are they still going to be able to compete for New Japan Pro Wrestling, are there going to be wrestlers from other promotions that are going to be allowed to compete for All Elite Wrestling. So many questions, not known. We'll keep you up to date with everything going on with All Elite Wrestling. Just make sure that you're subscribed and you tick the little bell to get a notification so you don't miss any reports from Spoiler Free Wrestling. And thank you very much for all your support. I'm the Guy from Spoiler Free Wrestling.